Hello and good afternoon. My name is Prashant and I'm based in Cambridge, and background is medical surgery, integral health, and been associated with meditation life for last 30 years, something like this. I was born in India during the monsoons, and so I like when it is raining very much. So today's subject is connected with happiness and how science is teaching us about this subject. In the past, science was mainly interested in studying depression and stress. All the research was in that direction. Last 30 years or so, increasingly there is a field called positive psychology, and they are studying what makes people happy and trying to understand the dynamics behind and beautiful projects studying what is happening in the minds. But one of the first scientists is Aristotle, and when his student Alexander the Great, when he was going to new places, new areas, he used to send the specimen for his teacher to study. And Aristotle, even though a philosopher, kept a record of observations and wonderful collection of his science research. And his famous statement, "We do everything for happiness." If you come here and you are choosing a seat where you are going to sit, you think what will make you happy. If you come out of here and turn left, right, you are thinking what will make you happy. It is like our need, our purpose, our direction, life, beginning and end of life. We are looking for happiness. But this striving for happiness is so important for us that it can put us in trouble. We can do wrong things because of short-term excitements and long-term problems. And this is where the spirituality comes in. It tells us think of tomorrow, not just of today's excitements. So when we are talking of well-being or the positive psychology, we are talking about long-term well-being. And this is the parameter. If we are looking for short-term excitements, we all know there is a ice cream, place there. So when one project, when they tried to see 18-year-olds, they are asked what will make them happy. The answers you get, they want to be famous, they want to be wealthy, they want to have a good position, and of course beauty and sense pleasures. These are the answers you get, what will make them happy. So in this project you study people, those who got all this, those who are famous and those who are rich and those who got a big position. And what do they find? They find that happiness has no difference. It may affect other factors, but not the subject of happiness. Someone who is very famous and someone who is not known at all, if you see their happiness, there is no much difference. Someone who got 10 billions and someone has got 10 millions, it is 1,000 times difference, but there is no difference in happiness. This is what is seen. And whole world and medical world, but also the governments, we are in a big question at the present time. What is going on in the minds of people? In spite of our amazing success in science and technology and prosperity and many political positive changes, happiness is not on the increase. Mental health problems are on the increase worldwide. All kinds of mental health problems. Depression is on the increase, but not the happiness. And success is sometimes backfires. Like for example, someone has got success, wealth. Down the line, they get more dependent on more things. They get used to certain things, and they are more in trouble. There can be. Thank you. Maybe later. So this is what is happening right now. There is a success, but we don't know how to handle it inside. So one such project, they looked into this. They made 5 categories of people, and tried to follow them up and see what is happening in their minds. And one category was people who are takers. Another is people who are havers. Their happiness is based on what they have. And third is those who are givers and maybe beggars. Some 5 categories. And try to see what is happening in their minds. What is the predominant emotion. Who are the happiest? Givers. Regardless of their personal situation, they find givers are the happiest one. And each of these other categories have got their own mind. For example, takers, what is going on in their mind? They are all the time complaining. Others are not giving enough. And giving and taking is not always gross. Why others are not giving me respect? Why others are not giving me recognition? Why they are not loving me? If someone is complaining to you, know that they are takers. Yeah? Givers are busy giving. They don't worry about others give them or not. They are busy in different things. What is the mind of havers? Those who got things, what is going on in their mind? They got worry of losing. More there is my. It can be to people also. These are my people. They are got carrying worry, mind that worries of losing. So even here, you create attachment to something. Immediately you will feel, I can lose this now. Understand, no? So the givers are the fortunate ones, the blessed ones. So in your town, in your street, you will find one old lady, maybe very simple, but everyone knows they can go to her if there is need. They are the blessed ones and they are the happy ones. Now in the study, those who did this study, they find that the real results are magical. They are not just little happiness, but magical happiness. And they say not many people know about this. Most people think taking will make you happy. Here they find, those who are givers in different levels. Even here, someone may have attention to give water or to give seed to somebody else or some form of giving maybe, But just as you walk past people, giving respect to one another, just silent, just a thought of respect, just a thought of love. There are many things you don't need lots of collection before you give. But these givers are the ones who got a different mind, they find, and the results are magical. They also say that more people need to experiment with this, just to find out. Giving and taking within your circle is not counted in this experiment. Which means giving it to your friends or relations, it is not counted as giving. Why not? Because you got a calculation. You are giving something today, you are expecting a bigger cake to come tomorrow. So that is balanced at that level. So that is not a part of the experiment. Try anonymous giving. This is what they say. As an example, you get a chocolate. Normally, it will disappear very quickly. As an experiment, think of someone whom you don't know who don't get chocolate that often. Give that chocolate and walk away. Don't even stay there to hear what they say even. And try and feel what you feel internally. If you eat the chocolate, it will definitely make you happy for 10 seconds. If you give it away, you will find you are happy even 10 hours later. Each time you think of that incident, you will feel happy. You will find in your life certain things you did in the last week that if you think of it, it will make you happy. There are certain actions, it will make you happy. You might have eaten many chocolates in the last week. If you think of it now, it might make you guilty, not happy. Or you might feel, I don't have it now. It was nice yesterday, but now you get a feeling of missing or lacking, but not of happiness. But there are certain actions that generates happiness in us. And one of these is this kind of action. Action it has to be a little extraordinary. But for these big results, you have to give the chocolate that you like. Understand, no? And it has to be the only chocolate, not the spare chocolate. And you will get even bigger results if you are hungry. It is worth experimenting. There are certain situations that come, something extraordinary has to be done, to get in touch with this. I'll give you one example. We were in one country, one place, and there was the place where we were staying, in one street, lots of litter there. So some friends, we said, tomorrow let us get together, bring the brooms and gloves and let us clean this street. And some 15 people got together at before 6 in the morning, and we cleaned that street. It took us just 15 minutes. All that was required was the intention. Otherwise they were waiting for council to clean it. So that was finished. No one knew who cleaned it. Everyone had a nice clean street. The next day. In the evening, I was talking to these friends, and they said they have planned to get up in the morning next day and clean another street. And it made me question what inspired them. No one even knew who did it. No one praised them. No one paid them. But they wanted to clean another street next day. Just that little action, you get rewarded at another level. Understand, no? And that happiness that you get, that cannot be bought by paying any amount. You can pay and buy some tranquilizers, but you can't buy happiness. You can't buy this sense of well-being. Certain actions are required. One question, how does this giving creates happiness? Normally my logic tells me more I give, I lose. So here we are seeing that more you give, you get. From where? I'll tell you one simple logic behind this. Or let me give you an example. Say in your house, you've got food on your table, in the fridge for 10 people. Understand? Life is going very well. And suddenly friends arrive. It is lunchtime and some friends arrive. 30 of them. What will you do? What is your next thought? Some situation like this forces you to think what else is in the house. It forces you to go into the kitchen store and see what is there. And in the process you discover things that you had forgotten about. And then you can use it for your friends, you can use it for yourselves. It is there, but you had forgotten about. Same thing is happening at many levels within us. Within us there is a store of wisdom, of happiness, of love, of peace. There are treasures within us. But we are not in touch with it. And we have to find some way of getting in touch. We have to dig deeper. And this is one way to dig deeper. And that is why we said, if it is a superficial culture, you are just looking for some sense happiness, then that doesn't help us get deeper. In fact, that kind of life leads to low level depression. This is what is seen. Those who are leading sort of, just pleasure in a hedonist life, that life leads to low level depression. Whereas those who choose a life where there is some kind of a striving, some struggles, some renunciation of some kind, but as we are seeing here, where you are also doing something that is extraordinary, that helps you to dig deeper, and in the process you discover something that is immensely valuable for yourself. Another very separate research, they find that those who have values and virtues, they are happier than those who do not live with values and virtues. Now, we all have virtues and we all like different principles, virtues, but in this equation are your virtues conviction virtues or optional, convenient virtues? As an example, we all like non-violence, we all love animals, and very good. But someone like Gandhi, he discovered that he can't hurt anyone, humans or animals. He should not hurt anyone. And in time that became a principle, he called it non-violence. But his non-violence meant he will not criticize anyone, whether it is political enemy or whether it is personal. He will, not only he, but his inner circle, some 40 people who were living in that ashram, it was their principle, they will not criticize anyone, not even making jokes amongst themselves. He will not hurt an ant or a mosquito. He would rather go to the other room but not hurt a mosquito. This kind of principle. That was his non-violence. Fine, so far so good. We are also able to do this. But place where he was staying, it was the Sabarmati ashram. There were snakes, and these are poisonous snakes. And snakes move around, they come into the houses, and the policy of the ashram was you don't hurt a snake. So sometimes there were situations where a snake sleeps in the room, one part of the room, and Gandhi sleeps in another part of the room. His argument was, why should the snake die because of me? If it's a straight choice, I die. And he lived with that principle for more than 25 years in that place. And he said there were no accidents. No one was bitten by the snake. But his whole positioning was, he would rather die than compromise his value. This was a level he would go to. He could have died much, much earlier, even before people knew about him. He would rather die than compromise his love. This was his principle. This kind of action forces to dig deeper. As we said, something has to be extraordinary to get in touch at a deeper level. When we lead a superficial life, we don't get in touch with ourselves. And then there is a treasure, but we don't even know what is inside us. As we said, inside there is peace, there is wisdom, lots of riches. We have to be in touch. Viktor Frankl, one beautiful observation by him 70 years ago. Viktor Frankl was in the concentration camp for some 75-6 years, and he was a psychologist and a neurologist in Vienna prior to that. And he survived the concentration. His observation was, those who are feeling successful, those who feel fulfilled, are those who have struggles, strivings, learning, and problems. These are the people who feel fulfilled in their lives. We all have an option to choose an easy life, but we also can take on some projects. Can be small projects we can all create, and the project necessarily involves some extra effort and some kind of a struggles, maybe criticized and maybe harassed, but you have to solve it as you go along. At the end of the day, you will sleep better, and you will find you discover something more. There is a happiness you discover. I'll tell you a small story and I will finish. One eagle laid an egg amongst the hen, and the baby eagle was growing with the hen, and it was trying to become a good hen and trying to scratch around and making sound like the hen, and everyone else is complaining, this is a funny looking hen. One day this eagle saw another eagle in the sky. Said, wow, what is that in the sky? They said, that is king of the birds. But we are chicken. We scratch around at night, we get locked in. That is the bird of the sky, we are bird of the land. So this eagle listens to chicken, behaves like a chicken, and one day dies as a chicken. What is the message? First message is, we do not know our own potential. We are all eagles, but we are trying to become a good chicken. And other message is, don't listen to chicken. Thank you.